Welcome to the Inspirational Corner with me, your host, Stylisha Bolton, as we encourage you here to live bold, live loud, and live authentically without apology. Welcome to another episode, everyone. And if this is your first time listening in, I encourage you to connect with me on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button, as well as following the podcast on Spotify. Yes, I'm excited, finally on Spotify, and that is something new. So for any recent and future episodes, you can always go to Spotify to catch up. And my past episodes from when I started my podcast last year, you can always go to my YouTube channel, as well as with other future episodes to listen in. So today I want to get into today and what I'll be discussing today. I feel like this topic is really important, and for me, is liberating to kind of actually talk about this topic and what I'm discussing in this episode. So today I'm talking about body positivity and honoring our bodies as women. And for me, I think this is so important, especially the things that we have been evolving through as women and what's been going on in the last 5 years and over the last centuries, what we had to deal with as women, and even within ourselves, because it really starts within ourselves, and the things that we have struggled with in society, with beauty standards, our body image, and everything that is connected within the feminine archetype. And I feel like personally that we have been brainwashed in our womanhood to reject, kind of have a neglect and self-hate and a loathing against our own feminine essence, our feminine structure, and how powerful and how important the feminine image and essence is important in the entire world. As women, if we look at our bodies and think about it, we give life, we birth life, we have the power to heal, and our womb was created as a power source. And I think because we have accepted society's definition of femininity, beauty, and our body image, that it has messed us up mentally. And I know for me, I am going through a phase in my life where I'm really trying to understand my feminine essence, my feminine nature, and my femininity, and really connecting back to the truth of who I am as a woman. And that's a journey that, to me, because I turned 40 and I'm now 41, I started to really go into this journey. And I'm going to be honest with you all, it's really liberating to go through this process, because now I'm learning so many things about my own individual, what I call is like a feminine awakening for myself. And it has really been rejuvenating for me to really dive deep into my femininity, and even the personal struggles that I have had and traumas that I've been through in my life, and the inner healing that I'm going through, and the things that I'm facing to heal myself within, as well as my womb, and know that God does not make a mistake. He makes masterpieces. So the feminine body and structure and archetype was a masterpiece, and the way he created us, and divinely, and the way I believe that we were divinely created by God was for a purpose, a master purpose and a master reason, because we are masterpieces, and our body was created in a different form from the man. And I think we have spent enough time shaming our bodies, neglecting our bodies, and hating everything that our bodies can do as women, even down to the menstrual cycle, because I know in my 20s and even in my 30s, when I would get my cycle and still getting my cycle. I'm like, oh, I hate it. Why do I gotta go through this? We as women go through so much, and not really embracing that my menstrual cycle and the 28-day cycle calendar has a purpose and a place in my evolution and flow as a woman. And now I'm getting to this place where I'm, like I said, doing more research with my menstrual cycle and understanding the significance that it has in my being, my feminine being, and how beautiful that is as my body evolves in these different phases to release life and to embrace life and to, and give my own self healing in life. So I truly wanted to talk about body positivity and honoring our body, because I just believe it is time to really honor and respect and really start loving all the phases that we go through as women and all the phases that our bodies go through. As women, I think we wear so many hats and play so many roles, and as a single mom, I have played like so many roles in my household, with one income and trying to live from one income and trying to provide for myself and especially for my daughter when she was younger, and just even now still, being a mother and being objective on things, me having to pay every bill in the house and not being married or, not having a boyfriend or whatever. And it's okay, but it has been a strain on my life as well. But, I feel like it has made me even more stronger to be independent and do the things that I needed to do in my life during that time of being, by myself and doing everything that I needed to do on my own. I'm grateful for it. I don't regret, anything that I've been through on my journey, because I truly would not be the woman today. And I truly would not be stepping out in my strength and my independence, or just stepping out on faith and learning to have faith and not be scared to talk about, honoring our bodies as women and understanding that our femininity is powerful, is life-giving, is what the world needs, especially now on today, was all the things that's going on. Femininity, our feminine essence is needed, because it has the power to change and heal and nurture the world. So I wanted to discuss like 3 things, or a couple of things really, about how we can like just take back our feminine essence power and start injecting body positivity in our life, and just understanding that our feminine body is a unique gift, not only to the world, but especially to ourselves. And so I'm going to, like I said, give you like three things, or 3 ways on where we can reclaim our feminine essence, as well as honor the body that has been uniquely made and that we have as women. And so the first thing I want to talk about is cycle syncing. Now, you might not know what that is. I didn't know what it was either until I started doing some research within the last 2 weeks, actually. And the reason I started doing research on my menstrual cycle and cycle as a whole, because I got tired of feeling like I was like my body was taken over by aliens, that I had all these different moods and what was going on with my body, especially at my stage and age. Now I'm 41 and I will be 42 in 2 more months. So just trying to understand my body and the role that my menstrual cycle plays, and what can I do better to give my body the grace and space that it needs to go through these different phases, and to honor those things. Because I know in my 20s and especially in my 30s, because in my 30s I was truly going through an inner healing, and I still am going through that inner healing journey, but I was trying to understand myself, but I was kept on performing at the same level, pushing myself, just going hard, doing, and never giving myself that time of rest. And that time to tap into my femininity like I should. And I think the cycle syncing gave me a better understanding on why I would hit burnout in my life, or why I would feel overwhelmed, or just purely exhausted, over exhaustion, and being burnt out, period. And so cycle syncing, really, if you, like I said, not understanding it, the definition for it is, it's the idea of aligning your eating, exercising, and other areas of your life with various phases of the menstrual cycle. Now, when I did my research, I found out that the menstrual cycle has like 4 phases. They might have more phases. However, when I was doing my research, I seen 4 phases, and maybe we learned this in biology, anatomy, or whatever in high school, but maybe I wasn't paying attention, and I blame it on me being young. However, I didn't know the menstrual cycle had 4 phases during our 28-day calendar of, the time we start our cycle to the time that it, the ovulation period, and then, until it ended, and then going back into the cycle phase. So the 4 phases that the menstrual cycle phase has is your menstruation phase. That's the beginning of your menstrual cycle to the like the 4 or 5 days, however long your cycle you have, your cycle ends, and then you going into to the follicular phase, and that's, I think it starts like right after or at the beginning of your cycle, all the way to the point where you're about to go into your ovulation period, which is the ovulatory phase. And then after that is the luteal phase. The luteal phase is truly when your body is feeling low on energy again, because your cycle is on the way. And so you have to treat your body differently. And learning about this cycle syncing, you all, has truly changed my life. I'm not gonna lie. Because it is basically is at each stage of your cycle calendar, as your body as your body is going through these different hormonal changes, it's affecting your mood, your eating, and your social habits. And I really wanted to understand this even more, and I'm realizing, because I'm starting it now, how it really is starting to help me recently, as I've been venturing through my menstrual cycle, calendar and stuff. Before it started, I was feeling low and, down or tired, just extra tired. And then I realized when I started, like I said, within the last week or two, this week or so, connecting with the cycle syncing and just going more in depth, on my blog, you'll be able to click on the link to go to an article that'll give you a deeper insight about cycle syncing. I also posted a YouTuber who explained the cycle syncing in an excellent way, which really liberated me in so many ways. That's why I said I feel like in this age and stage in my life, I'm going through a feminine awakening. And I felt like when I turned 40, I was really starting my life all, I felt like I was in the prime of my life. I feel like in my 20s and 30s, those were just boot camps. Like my 20s, I went through so many traumatic things, so many hard things. In my 30s, I started my inner healing and inner work, journey. And it's, like I said, it's still ongoing. And now in my 40s, I just feel like I'm feeling liberated to be the woman that I always desired to be and who God created me to be, and just letting go of all the suppression. I'm no longer wanting to suppress myself. I'm not going to suppress myself. It's time for me to feel liberated. And so that's why I felt like this episode was important, to kind of liberate us as women, to really embody our true self and really connect with our bodies in more of a beautiful, sensual, exciting way. And so with that said, like I said, you go on my blog, and my podcasts are on my blog, the read only version, and you have extra support and extra links and articles that you could click on to help you really learn more about the stuff that I'm talking about. And so the next thing I want to talk about is beauty in our bodies. I think it is very essential to see the beauty within ourselves, because if we don't understand our unique structure, our inner, how we were created, our own personal, spiritual, and soul DNA, and how it has created our physical attributes, we will allow society and other people to tell us what's beautiful about us and what's not beautiful about us. And so when I think and believe, once we start going through this journey of kind of making a list of what we love about ourselves, what we love about our personality, and what is our favorite physical attributes, I think that's going to help build confidence, and even dealing with the inner wounds, inner things that we didn't love about ourselves, or what we, the mental negative self-talk that we have allowed ourselves to believe about ourselves, and what other people have said about our beauty, our inner beauty. And why were, some of the things that some of the emotions that we had, why did we have them? What created those emotions in our childhood, in our past? Or what trauma did we encounter along the way that made us feel bitter and angry? Because I know for me, I had to, and I'm still, like I said, I'm still going through this process of understanding why the anger, the bitterness, and all the things that I've went through within my 20s, and all the dramatic and traumatic things I went through, what was the root of that? And when I really constantly been doing this inner healing, inner work, knowing that it go back to my, being raped and other personal childhood things, not feeling beautiful and enough, and being called, when I was young, in school, because my parents, they were loving, they taught us to be ourselves, but because I didn't really know who myself was, I was always looking for outside validation, and feeling awkward. I always felt like the oddball. I always felt like I didn't fit. I always wanted to fit in when I was younger in school, and didn't ever felt like I fit in. People talking about me, that I was ugly and I wasn't beautiful, and you know, I was a nerd. And so I was like, quote unquote, what we call back in the day, teacher's pet. And so knowing that my intellectual beauty was really like boss, and now I embrace being a conversationalist, being an intellectual person, being a very well-rounded person. I can sit in a room with anybody and have a conversation, no matter who they are and where they come from, because I'm all about embracing different people and cultures and stuff like that. And that's why I love to travel. So because I embrace that beautiful thing about me now, instead of looking at it as something that's not beautiful, as a downfall, now I know that's one of my strengths. So I think it's important when we start celebrating our unique gifts and features in the world, then we'll understand our superpower, and we'll know how to tap into that superpower and strengthen those things that we may not so much love about ourselves, and we can, like I said, start building on our confidence. And another thing I want to talk about in the beauty aspect is our bodies. Like I said before, we have been taught to just hate and loathe and self-neglect our bodies, because we're comparing, as women, we have been put in this box to compare ourselves to each other, compare ourselves to the woman next to us, compare ourselves to the woman on the magazine or the TV or whatever, whether it's in our looks, in our hair, in our body type. And I've learned, and I'm still learning, I just started learning, that my body is beautiful the way it is. It was not a mistake in the way it was created. It's beautiful the way it is. And me honoring that, and knowing, like, if I want to make some changes to it, like, or enhance the things that I do love, it's okay. Like, if I want to lose 10 pounds or lose 10 inches, I can do that. And this is what I do. But comparing my body image to all the body images on TV or society, saying, well, the hourglass, that's the body you should go after. That's the body you should be. And everybody should look like a clone, because every woman is trying to, either work out to be a hourglass, or get, all these implants and stuff like that to be an hourglass. And if you're doing it because you not insecure about your body and you really just want to do it, then that's your personal choice. But however, I want to say that all body types are beautiful. And when we learn that the body type that we have, and understanding what type of body type we have, we can learn to adorn the good and not so great parts of our body that we may not pretty much like. We know how to adorn those with clothes and accessories, and we embrace it a lot more. And so, me doing my research years ago, about different women body types, I have, you know, there is probably a lot of different women body types, but the main ones that I know of is the apple shape, pear shape, hourglass, rectangle, introverted, triangle. And for me, I'm an hourglass. So I know what looks right on my body, what doesn't look right on my body, and what I can do to accentuate those things that I do love, or those things that I want to kind of cover up, into the point where I'm, more comfortable with embracing them. And so I think when you understand your body type and dive into that, you'll understand your style. You'll, to me, enjoy shopping, and you start shopping for clothes that really is going to accentuate your body type, the body types that I talked about. And you could do more research on your own about the body type. And then I feel like as we understand our body type, then we can understand our style, and then we could kind of start defining our style. And to me, if I thought of 3 words, I always say, think of 3 words to define your style now. And if you don't like your style, how can you change it? What do you want your words to be? So the 3 words I would define my style as right now is ease, effortless, and elegance. But just understanding that as I grow and evolve in my womanhood, that my style words and my personal style is going to always change. It's going to be always evolving. And so on my blog, you can go to the read only version and click on the link and actually see where I inserted a YouTube video, so you can get further assistance and guidance on discovering your personal style. Because a YouTuber that I follow, her name is called Notorious Key, and she talks about discovering your personal style. And I love her YouTube video because I feel like it gave you great guidance on how to really define your personal style. So y'all have to check that out on the blog. Also, the last thing I want to talk about is hormones. Oh my goodness. Our hormones as women can be raging, can be, oh my goodness, we go through so many things dealing with hormones as we change and as we grow and as we go through different stages in our lives, and it can be a lot for us, and we can be accused of being emotional or acting certain ways, or quote unquote crazy or cray cray, if you want to say, because of our hormones. But I feel like if we start to really respect the beauty of our hormones, and it's hard, just recreating a new mindset towards our feminine hormones, we will know that our hormones are sacred. They are created for a reason, how to really flow with our hormones and be in harmony with our hormones. And I think that's the most important thing. So for me, going through my journey in honoring my body and, just injecting some body positivity in my life, I realized the importance of me taking vitamins. I started this journey in my mid-30s, around 35, 36. And actually my doctor had suggested me start taking vitamins because my body wasn't getting all the nutrients that it needed. And I was anemic at the time. So I started taking vitamins, and I truly believe in holistic healing and holistic health. That is my personal belief for me. So it was like right up my alley because I, love the holistic living and holistic healing, and I just kind of jumped into it even more. So I started taking multivitamins, probiotics, and different vitamins that I take to help regulate my body as a whole and contribute great things to my hormones. And I know I have heard about the Garden of Life multivitamins, and I think they have some for women over 40 and over 50, in your 40s and 50s, which I like gummies. I don't like capsules, so I only try to get the gummy forms in all my vitamins. I also heard about a vitamins called ritual vitamins. A lot of celebrities take those type of vitamins. I think it's a subscription based vitamin. They really good. I linked that in my blog, so you can just click on the hyperlink and go to it. Also, going organic was important for me, in so many different ways. Just making sure that whatever I'm putting into my body and on my body is chemically free as much as possible. And this journey started for me years ago when I lived in Iceland and Sicily. When me and my daughter lived in Sicily, especially for her. But when I was in Iceland, I was young. I was like in my early 20s, and just eating fresh food, fish, seafood and stuff, and being around nature. I'm a nature girl anyway, but so being around the clean outdoors. I love Iceland because Iceland is just, oh my goodness, if you've never been to Iceland, go. It's a beautiful country. And just being in Iceland with the beautiful nature, scenic area, and just embracing the clean air, it was just like beautiful. And when I did the transition from living abroad to coming back to the States, it was a culture shock for me because all I was used to was, certain things, multiculturalism. I was just used to different things. And so coming back to the States, it was a shell shock for me, and it's still a shell shock for me. And I truly desire to get back to an international living life because I just felt like that fit me so much, and I'm so drawn to it. And so many things I learned living internationally, and especially with me and my daughter, when we came back to the States, I didn't, eat, fast food. I just never did because I was so used to the organic foods that we ate abroad, especially in Sicily and stuff, and so coming back to the States, it was like, oh my God, all this processed food and stuff. And so I just cooked a lot. And, that's how I got better and better at cooking. And still to this day, I don't really like eating fast food. I'm not a fast food person. I will cook in a minute. It's only the times where I just like hit a wall and be like, I don't feel like cooking. I tell my daughter I don't feel like cooking, or she may not feel like cooking, and we just like, what we gonna eat? And we always pick pizza because I always tell her we're Italian because living in Sicily, the pizza was always organic and good. And so we always try to find an Italian organic place around my area. And there's like one in my area, and it's always like crowded, like a 2-hour delivery period for your pizza. But it's because their food is really organic and it's really good. So with that said, going organic, and what you define that for you, because like I said, I'm not totally organic, but I don't really eat a lot of red meat. I only eat really steak, and that's it. don't I don't really like eating a lot of fast food because it just don't make me feel good. So this journey has been for me in the last, since I was like, ooh, maybe the beginning of my 30s. So in the last 10, 11 years, this has been my journey in my going organic and food as a whole, just for my health and other personal things that attributed to my journey. Also, doing research on how your hormones change at different ages and stages of your life. And I talked about that. And I think it's important for us to do the research. It's just really important to understand how hormones affect your life as women. And when you can start embracing these different aspects that I talked about, your hormones, your body, your style, your body type, and cycle syncing, your menstrual cycle, and honoring those things in you and embracing it as a woman, and knowing that your womanly parts are sacred, and the way you were built and structured is sacred, and you defining your femininity in a sacred way, it's going to empower you and it's going to liberate you, instead of taking on society's view of what femininity is and how we should be quiet, how we're not significant. Like I said, it has changed over the years and it's still evolving and revolutionizing, but that our voice does matter, and all these beautiful things that I'm learning. Like I said, for me, again, I feel like I'm going through a feminine awakening at this point in my life, and I'm feeling more liberated, more in tune with my sensuality as a woman, and knowing how powerful that is, and just embracing my sexiness as a woman and feeling sexy and feeling empowered. And I think it's a great thing. And I want to end this podcast episode with this poem that I wrote like 10 years ago, and it's called Beautiful. I realized today, no matter how old I get, every bump, stump, and lump on me is beautiful. I have to appreciate the perfect physical structure of me. It doesn't matter what people say. Everything about me is beautiful. And see, it's okay. It doesn't matter what I say. Every part of me is beautiful. I am beautiful with the junk in the trunk and even the junk in the front. The cellulite I embrace, even the scars and moles on my face. See, I am simply beautiful. Whether I am a size 6 or 22, no one can be like me or walk in my shoes because I am just simply beautiful. Natural hair is fine. It's not nappy. God bless me with it. It's all mine. Whether I am short or tall, big or small, I am beautiful. Whether I am dark or light, my color is quite all right. See, I am simply beautiful. Whether my lips are thin or full, legs skinny or thick, I am still beautiful. It doesn't matter what people say. Everything about me is beautiful and it's okay. It doesn't matter what I say. Every part of me is beautiful and I am beautiful. And that's simply okay. I hope you enjoyed my poem, and I was truly excited to discuss this topic and this episode on today, you all, because I just think as women it's important. Like I said plenty of times throughout the episode, that honoring our bodies as women is such a beautiful, spiritual, deep thing. And the more that you connect with your feminine essence and femininity and connect with your body, to me, it's going to be a great evolution within yourself. And here at the Inspirational Corner, we always encourage you to live bold, live loud, and live authentically, everyone, without apology. Have a great week ahead. Until the next episode, be blessed.